Hello and welcome to ITC TechShare. I'm Tom Grissom. Today I would like to continue with our Earth Science OneNote notebook example that we started yesterday, and we created that 100% online using only the OneNote Online program within Office 365. Today I'd like to go back there and open that up again, so I'm going to go to my OneDrive account, and we stored that in the AY 2014-2015 folder, and I created a folder called Grissom OneNote Notebooks. And you could imagine I had to have Earth Science, English, history, some different types of notebooks out there for each one of the classes that I take. But for now, we're just working with the Earth Science Fall 2014. If I click on that, it once again opens up in the OneNote Online. Think of this as the viewer. So I'm out here viewing my content. So you can see we have the plate tectonics section. Yesterday we worked on the earthquake section over here. So we asked what is an earthquake, and we never really did get a definition out there. This was just a demo. But let's say that I want to go out there and provide a quick definition. So I've already got a tab open up here on top, and I can use my snipping tool. So let me just come out here, make a new snip. Now this will be like an image, but I can very quickly take that snip, save that. Let's quickly save this to my desktop, and I'm going to call this definition, and save that. And let's close this out. Go back to my Earth Science notebook, find an empty place somewhere, and do a Control V. Actually, I can't paste that in. That's a limitation of OneNote Online, so I'll have to insert that as a picture, and I'll choose my file that is on the desktop. So scroll down, there it is. It's a PNG file, so let's just open that up and insert it. So there is my definition as an image coming in. All right, if I need to make that a little bit larger, I can go out here and resize it. So that's one way to do it. Now, there are a few limitations, so I often work in the full OneNote desktop application, and there's a very easy way to do that whenever you're using OneNote if you have the full OneNote desktop application installed on your local computer. So yesterday we talked about types of faults quite a bit. Now, I like using the digital ink pen that comes with some of the Windows 8 tablets that support digital inking. So the Surface Pro 2 does. So I'm going to go out here and do what I call escalate. I'm going to escalate this editing session to use the actual real desktop full-blown application and say open in OneNote. It says I'm about ready to launch this program. Do I want to? Yes, I do. And now then, you can see that it's open in the desktop OneNote. It does look different than the online versions. For example, my sections are across the top. There's introduction, plate tectonics, earthquakes, and so on. And my pages in this particular desktop application are over here on the right-hand side. So I can go back and you can see that there's my earthquake definition image that I just pasted. But I do like to use digital ink a lot whenever I'm explaining concepts to students. It just helps with the teaching process. So I've got a digital ink or a digital pen in my hand right now using the Surface Pro 2. So I can go back and review and say, okay, class, yesterday we talked about normal faults. So I'll put a little check mark next to that. We talked about thrust faults, and we talked about strike slip faults. And say I have a question from a student, it's like, well, I really don't understand what a strike slip fault is. Well, we've got our little link for the animation that we did yesterday. These are notes, so great for studying, great for review. So let's go out and open up this USGS website and look for our flash animation on strike slip faults. And once again, I could be projecting this up in front of the classroom so everybody's following along. I'm also recording this in my OneNote notebook as I go along. So here is the strike slip. Let's play that animation again. So this is when one of the earth crust goes sideways against the other. So I can just play that a couple times so the students get an idea of what it is. But let's say I want to make a snippet of that. So I'm going to make a new snippet. Let's just do this much right here. Now, because I'm now in the desktop application, instead of saving that locally, I can just simply hit copy and go back into my full OneNote program, scroll down here to an empty spot, touch and hold, choose paste, and there's my image. All right, so it's a little bit more fluid with the full-featured desktop OneNote application. Now that it is in my OneNote, I have a draw menu, so I can come up here. Let's change the color of this pen so I can explain, this is where one of the plates move sideways. All right, and then if I just wanted to do a quick review, let's come over here and let's add a page. It's a new class day, so let's add a page and let's just call this review. All right, and then we can just go through and talk about the previous ones. But now then, since I have essentially a whiteboard here with my digital ink pen in my hand, I can go out here by hand and talk about, if I make a mistake, I can turn this pen upside down and erase it. Talk about normal faults. And then I could very quickly come over here and draw an example of a normal fault. A normal fault is where one of the plates falls down like that, and then I could ask the students to come up and give an example, have them literally demonstrate with a couple of books the different types of faults and so forth. So it's very, very easy to do, very nice for review, because I can just simply go back to whatever section and page that I want to go back to. Let's go back to this, what is an earthquake? If you can't quite see that, I've got pinch and zoom capability, so I can zoom in on that and we can review what the definition is. So that is using the OneNote desktop application to take advantage of the full features like digital ink that really, really helps with the teaching and learning experience. You can also see here, you might have saw that blink just a little bit. There's a little symbol right here that talks about my sync status. So this notebook, every time I make a change, it's being synced back to my OneDrive account. So whenever I'm finished, I can close this out. Let's close all my browsers and things out here, and close all tabs, and let's continue editing in the OneNote Online program. It will take just a second, but you can see that I do have a review tab, and right there, now this is the browser-based version. I can't create my digital inking within the OneNote Online program, but it will display it if I create it in the desktop OneNote application. Let's go back at types of faults. You can see some more digital inking. You can see my note there with the strike slip fault. So it makes it very, very handy to provide that digital inking. If you do need to escalate that editing session, you must have a device that supports digital inking, and you also must have the full desktop application installed locally on that computer. But very, very powerful. The students now have the ability, I could be projecting this up in the room as I'm explaining it. I can save these notes out and share them with the students. So if they go home and study, they will see the notes that we prepared in class, and I'll have them available to them anywhere, available 24/7, 365. So that's just some of the power of OneNote. We'll go ahead and stop. Let's go back to my OneDrive. So I'm going to click on my name up here to get back to my OneDrive folder. And then remember a trick, if you click on this Office 365 logo up in the upper left-hand corner, that will take you back to the Office 365 start screen.